Hey, well, that was faster than I thought it was going to be.
It it is
it,
actually. Oh, there
it,
you go.
it was longer than I thought.
It's longer than
I
you
mean,
thought.
shorter than I
For,
thought.
I was gonna say because you kind of if that's longer than you thought, I'm in a lot of trouble because that like slapped me upside. Like I was not ready.
No, I
I was
wasn't
not
ready
ready.
either. I thought I had like a couple more seconds.
I know. It's like not only was he late, Raven. Then now you see this. He just messed. What are we gonna do? I'm stealing the channel. That's it. It's mine. Done. Somebody needs to take control of this thing going on here. That's it. No, no, no. We're gonna have a vote after the show. You might be out. No, I couldn't do this without you. It's too much fun.
So, everybody, welcome to Truth Serial. This is part 2 of our coverage of Ed Gein. If you missed part 1, check out Claire's channel. She will have our part 1 where we actually looked at the Ed Gein case. This week, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the crime scene photos. I'm not going to be posting any of the actual stuff they found, but this is all like outside and inside the house. I am getting ready. I'm going to put a link in the chat right now for everybody. If you actually want to see what he made, there's the link. It's in the chat now. I'm going to go ahead and pin that one so everybody can see it. That will take you to a website that will show you all the stuff that he made. The lamps, the furniture, the belt, the necklace, gloves, all of that stuff. It's a little creepy and it's a little disturbing to be putting on YouTube. So
yeah, it was hard enough to read. Just reading those parts, like I mean, I didn't get like too creeped out, and I tried not to laugh, but it was wild. Like that stuff is wild. I can't. I'm gonna go look actually later.
So it's got the lampshades in there, Pickle. So like I said, if you guys want to check them out, you can check them out. There are the shoes and the purses and lamps. It's some disturbing pictures, but that's why I didn't want to post them because it's just
yeah.
I mean, it's fascinating what he did with them, but at the same time, they're really disturbing looking.
Well, it made for great entertainment in media, which we're gonna get to later. I'll tell you. Yeah, but
so and then once we're done going through the actual photos, what I'm going to do is I'm going to we're going to go through his effect on pop culture and the different things there.
Yep. So he really did have an effect for such a boring guy. So,
I love that Ed Gein, the Martha Stewart of serial killers. Gein makes a happy home.
How did his decorating style is quite unique, I'll tell you that.
Always creative. Says been there, saw the pics, didn't want the belt.
Nope. Yeah, the belt is interesting. Extra box of parts here, extra box of parts there. Yeah, I don't know.
There was some disturbing stuff there. So
Raven said he made shoes. He made shoes.
There's shoes.
There's shoes.
There are shoes.
Oh man. Oh.
Yeah, there's. They just one's got a big ear on the side of them. Yeah.
Jay says, "I'll put the link down. I'll put the link down there so you don't have to look at it as I describe it."
I didn't say I wasn't going to describe it. I just said I wasn't going to show it.
As I put all of those pictures in your head, Claire. But you can go over on the link and check out if it's really there. Yeah. It's so good. Oh,
the face God. On the lampshade,
I know. Well, you got to put it somewhere when you're not wearing it. Like, come on, where else are you going to put it? What's a good place, the lampshade, if you think about it,
So we are going to, all right. So we showed this picture on Monday. This is Ed Gein's house from afar. The caption says, seeming peaceful and innocent in Plainfield, Wisconsin in November 18th of 1957. 420 says the tufts of hair made me gag.
Yeah, I was just talking it appropriately. So, like, if you ain't gagging, you're not looking.
Just like, even I was like, ugh. And I've studied the Jack the Ripper pictures, so.
Oh gosh.
So this is his house from afar. Now, this is we showed this picture too. This was curious townsfolk peering into his kitchen while he was taken into police custody. My mom says the shoes are neat.
Oh god! No, stop! Oh my god! You know what? This creeps me out. The way they're looking in the window, they're like stalker shit. This is like, yeah. Oh damn! Sorry, I gotta turn my notifications off. Sorry, people. Bear was lazy.
And here's the deputy sheriff standing outside. All right, more peeking through the window. All right, here's the crime lab. Looks like they're unloading stuff or loading stuff in to his house there. Here is a wreath they found. It's one of the things that wasn't creepy that they found in the house. Mom says he needs to work on his stitches though. So here's Trooper Dave Sharkley. He looks on some of the instruments found in Gein's residence. Human skulls, heads, death mask, and newly butchered corpses of the neighboring women were also found. I have looked through these pictures, so there shouldn't be any nasty stuff, but apparently he liked to collect some instruments too.
Oh.
One of the very few uncluttered rooms in Gein's house. This is his mother frequently occupied this room, so this is why it was left spotless after she passed away. Because we talked on Monday on how the rooms that she frequented, he sealed up and never went back into. Now here's the chaotic kitchen. This is where parts of Gein's victims' bodies were found. Was here in the kitchen. Yeah. I bet you if you decided to look, you could probably see some, but I'm not going to linger on that too much. But you see the clutter.
Yeah, it's a mess.
In the house. This is what a lot of his house actually looked like compared to those other rooms. Mm-hmm. This is the dirty living room. They called it the eerie dirty living room. Ugh. His grungies hanging up on the line. At least he washed.
At least he I was just going to say that, you know, half a credit, half a point there for washing your undies, you know.
Pickle says he's a human hoarder.
Yeah. Well, he was parts anyway. Oh my gosh. Oh God. You would just make a joke out of the most disgusting stuff. There's something wrong with us, Jay.
Always Creative says so. He was fashion forward and musically inclined.
We're not alone either. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh goodness.
Davro says I worry about all this research. It may end up being the perfect crime soon.
I'm telling you. I think we're all working. Jay's teaching me how to be a serial killer. Like he told me this. He taught me the psychological part of it. How I had to get my brain ready for this. You know how I should be thinking. And then he did a whole series on all of the ways you can do it.
Like I'm telling you, if I ever snap and go serial killer, I'm taking out a lot of people before they figure it out it's me.
No. You know, the bear's crafty. I might go before you. I don't know. It's like they never suspect the bear.
This is actually this is one of the few pictures that pop up that's really it is kind of disturbing, but it's not. But this is a chair that was found that was upholstered with human skin.
It's okay until you know it's skin.
Yeah, until you realize it's skin, and then you're like that. But that's actually pretty well done. If you look at it.
It's okay until you realize that that's the skin from somebody's asshole back. You know, you're like, whoa. Like,
my dad says, I'll know.
you know. Okay, you know. I mean, it's a nice job. You know, evenly spaced. You know, studs and everything.
So this is Ed Gein's neighbor, Bob Hill, who was looking around the house in horror. He had visited Gein the same day he had killed Mrs. Warden. So yeah.
You know, he looks so unpretentious, doesn't he? Yeah, come on.
Well, yeah. Well, Bob was like, this is a little messed up.
This is a little messed up. I think he's got that look on his face like,
So here's more pictures of police investigators searching for the evidence on the property.
I love the old-fashioned pose for the looking for evidence pictures. You ever notice how they're all putting for something like that? They're all looking up, but you don't know what they're looking for, and they're all just like, there it is. There it is. All of it, you know, there it's right there.
Here's a police investigator carries a chair from the home that was fashioned with human skin. That's the one we looked at earlier.
Yep.
But look at the hoarding mess.
Yeah, Ed, you're a pig. I'm sorry. This is a mess. I'm really disappointed.
Here they are digging in Gein's garage.
Yeah.
Moving the car to properly clear the area of any potential evidence, which Gein's house of horrors had plenty. It says.
It does.
Now this is.
Can you imagine being the cleanup crew and going in there and like you're not wanting to move a box? I mean, I wouldn't want to move that pile of papers. God knows what's under there.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't want to move anything. Like I would be like, oh.
So this is his living conditions. This is what he lived in. But like we said earlier, he maintained several rooms in mint condition. But those were the ones that his mom frequented. So. Here a police officer examines the junk-littered kitchen where human skulls, various body parts, and a butchered body of Miss Bernice Warden were discovered. Just look at that mess.
You're just, I know. I'm scared about what's under that mess. And I would imagine, you're right, Krabby. I would imagine that smells so bad.
Oh, yeah, it had to stink.
I mean, after all, we got like skin everywhere. Hanging all over the house, oh, I can't even, I'm bleh.
Here's a crowd of around 2,000 looky-loos
Is that what
combed through his former belongings during the auction following his arrest on March 30th, 1958.
Wait, comb through his belongings? Yeah. What are they looking for? A piece of skin or something? Like what? Comb, like with all the gross stuff. Oh my gosh.
People were getting. My dad says, as I remember it, her heart was in the pan on the stove.
What? Oh, now that's a smell. That now bleh. What is that? That was the first Murder Minions meeting, wasn't it?
Yeah, there you go. His first Murder Minions. There you go. It's the first Murder Minions meeting.
There you go.
This is his house getting boarded up to protect the evidence from being tampered with. This was in November 57.
Yeah. I would imagine it was hard to keep everybody out.
Stupid Ed. This is all that so I can actually skip that one. So this is all that remained of the house of horrors after a fire of undetermined cause destroyed the building on March 20th, 1958. So somebody burned his house down.
Well, yeah, I guess. I can see they had to, with all those people, what you call them, looky-loos, all those people fascinated and interested in getting like a little piece, and you have to board the whole thing up. I can imagine that people were very fascinated by the case, but also very too obsessed with it too. Like I believe somebody thought that they were like saving the planet by burning that stuff to the ground. You know what I mean?
I didn't realize this picture was in here. I had another website up that's talked about that. There was actually a guy who wanted to buy the house and turn it into a museum, a House of Horrors museum, but it got burned down instead.
Well, maybe somebody took objection to that he would get famous and that he would be glorified in any way. I can imagine, but I think a museum with how would they preserve the nipple belt? Like, come on, like it's gonna be. Ew! Can you imagine what it would look like now? Like, oh my! That's many years later. Oh, yeah.
So those were the pictures, like you said, of the house around the time of everybody. You
gotta put up Krabby's comment. It's too bad. That one.
The house had good bones.
Krabby, you know what? I like late in the day, Krabby. Yeah, Krabby bringing it. Yeah. It was a good farmhouse. It is a good farmhouse.
Yeah, she did say the house was made of real timbers, most likely hardwood. So yeah, it had some good bones to it.
Yeah, it was a nice, farmhouse style. In the beginning when we first showed it, it looked so like normal from the front until you showed me the back where everything was all disheveled and like messed up. But from the front, it looked like a nice, peaceful place to be with a house of horrors on the inside. It's just you don't know crazy till you get close enough.
So my mom asked, did they say whether the skins were tanned or done fresh? From what I understand, some of them were tanned and some of them were still fresh.
Yeah. Well, that seat looked like that had to be tanned because otherwise, wouldn't it shrink more as it's like if it's like as it's drying out and things like that?
I
And then tanning prevents it from getting bigger and smaller, like makes it
yeah,
how it's supposed to
I
be.
got
Yeah.
no idea there. So
Oh, I'm gonna go
I
with the
don't know
seat was tanned and
yeah.
the lampshade's not. That's what. Yeah. Okay.
So now what we're gonna go over. So like I said, we wanted to give you a picture of what was going on there during 57 and 58
Mm-hmm.
when they
Mm-hmm.
found everything. So now what we're gonna do is we're actually going to be looking into his effect on pop culture.
Oh, which is yeah, that
Yeah.
is fascinating. That's
Yeah.
it-
So according to what am I looking at? ScreenRant.com, it says because of the extreme nature of the crimes, Gein has been an inspiration for horror movie killers at probably any other real life criminal. Starting
mhm,
first with the infamous Norman Bates. Now, in the recent years, characters like Dr. Oliver Thedson in American Horror Story Asylum.
mhm.
So, first, we are going to cover, and I got more pictures. We're going to look at Norman Bates and Psycho.
Yes, and not that many people realize that that's based on Gein. You
Mm-hmm.
know, definitely the mother fixation part, right, Jay? It's
Mm-hmm.
all there. The whole psychological mother fixation part
Yeah.
was laid out in Psycho. Mm.
So, the first piece of media that inspired by Ed Gein's crimes was Robert Bloch's novel Psycho, which was published in '59.
Mhm.
Alfred Hitchcock's movie adaptation followed shortly after. At the time of Gein's arrest, Bloch was living 35 miles away from Plainfield in Weyauwega. Weyauwega? I
Wait,
don't know.
I
W
don't
E
know.
Y A U W E G A.
Wait. Mm.
Though Bloch was not aware of Gein's case at the time, he began writing with the notion of that man next door may be a monster suspected even in the gossip ridden microcosm of small town life.
Mm-hmm.
Paula Garn explains in a review of Bloch books Behind the Bates Motel. When the real details of Gein's case were finally released, Bloch was surprised to discover how closely Norman Bates resembled Gein in both his crimes and his motivations, and inserted a line alluding to Gein in one of the final chapters of the book to create a parallel. Then there was the Hitchcock film adaptation of Psycho, which remains one of the most beloved classic horror movies, rated #1 on the American Film Institute's list of 100 most thrilling films. Hitchcock had been upfront about the fact that Norman Bates is wholly Bloch's creation, who he simply adapted for the screen. But it's
Mm-hmm.
obvious that Gein's crimes being more part of a cultural zeitgeist at the creation of the film than of the writing of the novel. He may have had played a slightly larger role in inspiring Anthony Perkins' performance as Norman Bates. So the clear similarities, that's a big word, similarities between Norman Bates and Ed Gein is his mother complex. Both men lived in isolation with a heavily religious mother who dominated them.
Mm-hmm.
When their mother died, both men descended into madness, keeping her alive within their own minds, and at times becoming their mothers and taking murderous action because of it.
Mm-hmm. Like the last scenes in Psycho where he's the mom. Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. Dramatic. Dramatic. Well, and yet there's even more. Like it's a fascinating how in media this part of the story about the mom was like
Mm-hmm.
a really big thing for the psychological profile and like why he was the way he was. But the media took it like everywhere because each movie, each thing, each book took it to another different level. Like in Psycho, I don't believe you see him, doing all the skin stuff.
No, he didn't do any of the skinning. That's
They kind
actually
of
going to come up here in just a few minutes.
me and my obsession with skin. What can I
Yeah,
tell you?
with another movie, but that'll be coming up here in a
Mm-hmm.
little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's your typical what we see nowadays is the mama issues.
Yeah.
Like Freud said, it all goes back to your parents. But
Mm-hmm.
you can't believe Freud because he was a fraud. Anyways,
Freud was a fraud. Freud was a fraud. This is new. Okay,
He's been discredited so much.
I know. Yeah, I don't blame my mother for anything.
No.
There.
So the next movie we're gonna take a look at is a movie called Deranged. And as you can see that picture in the little skull on the table. So Deranged is a 1974 Canadian American horror film loosely based on the life of Ed Gein, which follows Ezra Cobb, a middle-aged man in a rural Midwestern community who begins a string of murders and grave robberies after his mother's death.
Familiar. Does that sound
like?
Wow, that description, that sounds like a serial killer I know. What?
Like Gein, Cobb's mother was extremely religious and raised him to be misogynist. After her death, Cobb embarks on a string of serial murders and grave robberies. The story of Deranged also follows a very similar beat to that of Gein's life and his eventual capture. Cobb's fascination with and the killings of waitress Mary Ransom mirrors Gein's murder of tavern owner Mary Hogan. Cobb's treatment of Sally Mae's body in Deranged also follows closely with Gein's treatment of hardware store owner Bernice Warden. The notable difference is that Deranged plays up the necrophilia aspect, as the film was also known as Deranged: Confessions of a Necrophile, though Gein himself never committed necrophilia. Aside from this detail, the story is very similar to the crimes committed by Gein.
They just wanted to go there for the fascination.
Yeah, that was all shock and awe.
Yep, that was like, oh, as if wearing skin while you walk around. Now, somebody else's skin while you walk around the house isn't like, sensational enough. They had to do the dead body thing.
Yeah,
that's freaky. I don't know. That's Hollywood. What can
Oh, yeah. It's the shock and awe. I mean, you shock them and then riddle them with your bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So
it is interesting to see where they go different, though. Like all the different movies, it is fascinating to me to see the different angles. So, go on.
So that was, like I said, that was the second one made on Ed Gein. So the next one, everybody should know what this one is. This is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 1974.
And that was a fun movie. So uplifting, inspiring.
I'm telling you, I can identify with Leatherface and his. No, I can't.
You are scary. I was just gonna say, Jay. Oh my God, you're scaring me, Jay. Raven, we gotta talk. We gotta talk. That's scaring me. Like no, Leatherface. Oh my God, anybody but Leatherface. Come on. Yeah.
Well, but there's nothing wrong with Bubba. He was just.
Oh, Hawkskull, that's just wrong. Hawkskull, that's just wrong. God, just crikey. Oh
Dead girl, don't say no. Oh, that's bad.
You went there. Oh God.
Oh man, that was.
You're killing me, Hawk. You're killing me. I gotta mute for a second. I'm gonna choke. Oh my.
That was bad. Oh man. Anyways, thanks for that, Hawkskull. And thanks for everybody.
I'm back. I'm back.
For everybody that's popped in since we started the show.
Yes. Thank Hawkskull. Wrong show. Wrong stream. Wrong show.
Save that for mayhem.
Yeah, take a look around. This is the Murder Minions. But thank you. That was unexpectedly delightful. In a weird way.
So getting back,
if we can. Oh my God!
And Toby Hooper's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He and Kim Henkel modeled the character of Leatherface after Ed Gein, also taking inspiration from Elmer Wayne Henley, who famously assisted serial killer Dean Corll by bringing him victims. Dean Corll will be somebody that's the Candyman. Oh, that's a messed up story too. We'll get into Dean at some point. So Gein's inspiration on Leatherface, however, is a bit more straightforward, as the character demonstrates a history of wearing women's clothes, mutilating bodies, and making masks and other garments out of human skin. Kim Henkel closely studied Ed Gein's case when writing the screenplay for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and used a lot of the more gruesome details of his crime as inspiration for the character of Leatherface. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is the first film to take inspiration from Gein without focusing on his relationship with his mother. Instead, it shifts the spotlight to his fascination with the human skin and body mutilation. Though Leatherface is shown to dress up in women's clothing, this detail isn't specifically related to a maternal figure. I gotta say, I enjoy a good moo so I can see dressing up in a dress.
It's easier to keep your skin layers on. Boy, I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know. They you know what? Of all of the media movies that have tagged on to Ed Gein, this one bothered me. This one,
Really?
yes, Leatherface. Like I mean, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I guess I'm a little strange. Oh, the first time I
See,
went to watch it, it really creeped me out. I couldn't even watch it. It was like I was taking it serious. It was like gross. I'm doing the girly thing. Ew, God, turn it off, turn it
see,
off.
I
All of that.
laughed.
Yeah,
I
and
laughed
that's
at
what.
this one.
Yeah, that's where I'm getting. Then the second time I went to watch it, I just laughed through the whole thing. I laughed. I went, "Are you kidding me?" And I just laughed and laughed and laughed. But that first one, it just, I wasn't feeling it. Like,
Huh.
but then something kicked in and I started laughing about it. But it's still kind of like a bit creepy about the parts that they focused on and stuff like that. It's still just kind of.
So, other than Psycho, we're probably going to move on to the next, probably the most famous
The best.
movie based off of Ed Gein, and that would be Silence of the Lambs.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I was reading what Yoo-Hoo Shoo said.
Yeah,
Huh.
Wow. There he is. There's our star.
And there's Buffalo Bill.
Bill.
So,
Yeah.
Jonathan Demme's 1991 film Silence of the Lambs has become well known for its depiction of a charismatic and thoroughly terrifying serial killer / cannibal Hannibal Lecter. Oddly enough, can you guess how many minutes Hannibal Lecter was actually in Silence of the Lamb?
Hannibal?
Yep.
Guess how? Not as many as you would think. Huh?
No.
Even though it's like about him. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's very little. I think Buffalo Bill's in it more, actually.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember right offhand, it's either 12 minutes or 17 minutes. That's that's all the screen time Hannibal
really?
Lecter had in Silence of the Lambs. Yeah.
And he got paid a lot too, boy, for that sinister look,
Not as much as you think. He didn't make a lot of money off of that.
Well, he has some great quotes though.
Yeah.
The fava beans, that look when he's going through the mask, like when they had him all. But they also took liberty with, a lot of things too. But Buffalo Bill, that's the Ed Gein part. That was, oh my God. They really played that up. They actually, this movie for me puts more of a visual on Ed Gein's fixation, like the joy, like what he got out of it, like they kind of played that part of it better, instead of playing up like what he was doing, they kind of played up on his fixation, his fascination, and becoming this perfect woman,
So, the central plot of the film focuses on Agent Clarice Starling's hunt for Buffalo Bill, a killer who attacks overweight women and skins their corpses. Silence of the Lambs is based on a book of the same name by Thomas Harris, published in 1988. Harris based the character of Buffalo Bill on a combination of American serial killers, including Jerry Brudos, a serial killer and necrophile who strangled 4 women in Oregon and dressed up in their clothing. Ted Bundy, obviously everybody knows who he is, the infamous serial killer who used the ruse of pretending to be injured, often with addition of a cast or crutches, several times as a ploy to ask victims to help before attacking them. Gary M. Hindnick, who kidnapped, raped, and tortured 6 women in Philly, and then held them in a pit in his basement.
That's where the pit comes from, yeah?
Yeah. Ed Kemper, the co-ed killer who, like Crumb, killed his grandparents as a teenager just to see how it felt. Gary Ridgway, the Green River Killer, who dumped the body of his first 5 victims in the Green River and is also known for inserting foreign objects into the corpses. And, of course, Ed Gein.
Mm.
So the portion of Grum's serial killer traits that most people remember because it is the most shocking are Gein's crimes in mutilating the bodies to create the skin suit,
Mm-hmm.
taking his propensity for corpse mutilation and desire to become his mother through a collection of women's skin clothing. Thomas Harris elaborated on the motivation in those crimes to create a killer so obsessed with femininity and metamorphosis that he kills to create a woman's skin suit and be reborn as a woman.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm. So now we know which serial killer the pit came from. Now we can see like who they were like crafting the character
Mm-hmm.
from multiple
Yeah, it wasn't
serial
just one; it
kills.
was
Yeah.
multiple
Hmm.
serial killers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. I'm surprised that Ramirez is in. Yeah, I'm surprised. Mhm.
Wine is cheaper than therapy. Says 24 minutes. I didn't think it was that much, but they said they just Googled it. So,
Yep,
uh,
yep. That you're and Herb is saying the same thing. They
yeah,
both
I
Googled it.
thought it was lower than that, but still,
Mhm.
24 minutes is not that long.
No, it's not, and
Not
that's a
not to
double
be
Google. Yeah.
not to be because that's what everybody focuses on when they think of
Hmm.
Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal Lecter. It's because he did such a great performance, but the movie is
Right.
actually about Buffalo Bill.
Buffalo Bill. They're
And
tracking him down. They're trying to find him. They're profiling him.
if you guys recognize him, um, the guy who played Buffalo Bill, he was the captain in the TV show Monk.
Ah, okay.
So
That's where that face is from, huh?
mhm.
Mm.
He was the captain from Monk. So
Hmm.
the next one we're gonna look at is actually Ed Gein itself.
The movie Ed Gein.
The movie Ed Gein from 2000. So
Mm-hmm.
released as Ed Gein in the U.S. and Australia, but known as In the Light of the Moon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, but also known as In the Light of the Moon. This film closely follows the crimes of Ed Gein, starting with abuse at the hands of his overly religious mother and alcoholic father, and ending with the capture and the officers' discovering of his home. The film, while underwhelming and receiving mostly negative reviews from both critics and viewers, pays close attention to Gein's life in an attempt to create a faithful adaptation of his life on film, though the portrayal is somewhat inconsistent. The director, Chuck Perello, who also did Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, wanted the film to be an exploration of his protagonist's psychology, something that he tried to do with all his films.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. He took direct influence from Gein's life, including both of his parents and the death of his brother, which may or may not have been Gein's fault. We're pretty sure now, though, that they believe 100% that Gein had killed his brother.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they
Yeah.
believe they couldn't prove it, but they do believe 100% that he did. Perello also paints Gein as a cannibal, and while Gein did have a fascination for stories of cannibalistic tribes and Nazi atrocities, he never admitted to actually participating in cannibalism.
Yeah, but mom's heart in a pan on the stove, or somebody's heart on the pan in the pan on the stove. I forget who it was, but there was a heart, and
Yeah,
it didn't.
Morton's.
Yeah, Morton's. Okay, didn't because I think Herb just reminded us of that earlier.
Yeah.
There's a heart in the pan on the stove. I mean, why else would it be there, Jay? We don't normally store our hearts on the stove.
Well,
We might be cooking them. I don't
Catherine Knight
know.
was making a stew, so
Yeah, it didn't taste very good. She wasn't very happy with it. Yeah, she wasn't very happy. And then she got pissed off about it because it didn't taste good.
yeah,
That's
threw one of the
best
plates
part.
outside.
That's the best part. She had attitude problem.
But yeah, I mean, with Silence of the Lambs, though, I really think the emphasis needs to be put more on Buffalo Bill with that movie than they did
Hmm.
on Anthony Hopkins' Hannibal
Yeah.
character,
Hmm.
because the performance was such a good performance. I mean, the guy
It
that
really
played
was.
Bill was so good at it, and
Hmm.
if you're serial killer fanatics like the murder minions we are, that is what you should be focusing on when you watch Silence of the Lamb. Is not Hannibal Lecter, is
Hmm.
actually Buffalo Bill.
I think the Hannibal Lecter character was more to show the psychological pressures that Clarice is under when dealing with these kinds of people, like how they mess with your head, because and then she's like trying to profile for this Buffalo Bill guy. It's like it was interesting.
Well, interesting enough, her reaction, Jodie Foster's reaction to Anthony Hopkins in the jail cell.
Hmm.
That is the first time she sees him is the very first time she's seen him on set.
Hmm.
They kept him away from her and didn't give him his lines. She only had her lines. She didn't have his lines. So when he said his lines, those reactions with her lines are genuine reactions. Same with
Mm-hmm.
that shock that she sees because she didn't have any of that performance ahead of time. They didn't do any rehearsals. They may have done a couple takes afterwards, but it was mainly the very first take, the shock take, after what he said and everything, that really dug home with that. Pickles says you can stay at Buffalo Bill's house now. It's now a bed and breakfast. Oh, good God.
Yep.
Oh,
I don't think I want to eat there. I don't want to sleep there. Mm-mm. I can't imagine making that into a bed and breakfast like that. I'm a little walk through museum maybe, but like, isn't there a hole in the floor in a basket? Like,
Raven says read the book. There's so much more. Are you talking about Lecter or are you talking about Bill?
hmm. Yeah, I want to know which book because I do have like the straight Ed Gein book,
I
Psycho.
think she's actually talking the Silence of the Lambs book.
Yeah. Oh, that was an amazing. Yes, because they get more into the psychological impact. I'd have to agree with her if that's the book that she's talking about because it is so much more in depth. Although they did do a really good job of just with the visuals with Hannibal and Clarice, expressing some of that. I
Mm-hmm.
thought they did an excellent job. One of the best, actually, from a book to a screen. Um, because the feel was there. But I agree with her. There's so much more about how it affected and what was going on in the
She
book.
also says there was another killer in the book too.
Yeah,
Hmm.
because there's
I said,
always more. There's always somebody. There's always
yeah.
you don't get like that's the thing with these movies, right, Jay? Don't they like predict like all these guys got to do is find one guy all the
Yeah.
time, and like that's not the way it is. Like they got 10 they're looking for all the time. Like the stuff's coming in on this one and that one, and they got to keep it all straight. Like they don't get to follow just one guy. Like it ain't like that. Like they got all the time just to track
Mm-hmm.
this guy down. You know.
She said Raven says they couldn't have done the book justice.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I thought they did a decent job, but the book, I agree with her. The book is very intense. So if you like
Um,
reading this stuff, guys, check that. That one. I totally recommend.
Wine
Yeah.
is cheaper than therapy says, fun fact, you may know this, the Nike slogan, just do it, came from Gary Gilmore's final words before execution, where he states, let's do it.
Let's do it. Yep, I had heard that before. One, and I was like, is it really true? Because that's like bizarre. Like, why would Nike? Well, anyway, why ask why?
Oh,
I
this
know.
this this is this is easy. This is so easy. Who wins, Lecter or Dexter? Dexter, hands down.
Dexter, because he's so charming. And although Lecter was charming, he ate people.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. I kind of draw the line there with charm. Like you kind of lose some of your charm when you start eating people. But this is Dexter. He's like the superhero serial killer if there is one. He's actually the kind of sort of good guy,
Dexter
but
is what
not.
is known as a mission-oriented killer.
Yes. uh, vigilante kind of thing,
Well, no, not so much vigilante. He was very mission-oriented. His mission was to um take out the guys that society had failed.
Yeah, well,
Well,
this is the
the
bad
criminal,
guys.
yeah, the
Yeah.
bad guys. I mean, I guess you could call him a vigilante, but he was. I would consider him more of a mission
Listen,
type
when they
serial
when they
killer.
have a trial that fails and like a killer gets off and then he goes and kills the guy, that seems a little vigilante to me. Like that seems like, okay, you guys messed it up. Let me show you how to do it. He's in
Yeah,
pieces. He's gone. Yeah, it's just a little bit. I guess it could be both, though, Joe. Right? Jay, it's like semantics. It could be both. It,
yeah.
it could be both. Yeah.
So now we're gonna move. We're gonna move on to probably two of my favorite movies: House of
Mm-mm.
a Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects.
Oh, of course, Jay. No, of course.
Oh,
Okay.
love these movies. Rob Zombie's cult films, The House of a Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects, incorporated a lot of cultural references, including naming all the family members of Groucho Marx characters from the 30s. However, the character Otis B. Driftwood, played by Bill Moseley, is a direct reference to Ed Gein. Otis, named after Mark's character from A Night at the Opera, is the most violent member of the Firefly family, known to be a sadistic necrophiliac who crafts the freaks of Captain Spaulding's museum, making sculptures out of his victims. Notably, he also wears the skin on multiple occasions as costumes as well. These two most salient aspects of Ed Gein's crime serves as the inspiration for the character, appearing in two, now three, of Rob Zombie's films about the Firefly family. Yeah, those. If you haven't watched those, oh my god, they are
Mhm.
fantastic.
Well,
I have not.
I do like Rob Zombies, but it's a hot mess. Yeah, it's definitely a hot mess.
Belinda and my mom both agree that Lecter would win, Dexter wouldn't.
Because they're saying he's a genius. But here's the thing: we're not. Dexter is always on the verge of getting caught. But here's the thing: like Dexter's likable, and you end up supporting his mission. Like he gets you rooting for him. Not that many people were rooting for Lecter to come and eat them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but we're not talking about who you root for. They were talking about who would win.
Who would win as like win what? Like best serial killer? Like what? What?
Well, if you
like,
pit the two against each other, who would win? Dexter or Lecter?
Wait, they're in a match together? Then I digress. Because Lecter would eat his ass. Because you're right. That's it. Lecter would win. You're right. Because he is more evil genius type and he's not going to get caught. And Dexter, yeah, he would be fascinated with him and slow down just a little bit, get caught, get his ass eaten. That's it. Done.
Oh, well, yeah.
Right.
I mean,
okay.
How many times did Dexter almost get caught? So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I digress. I take my comment back because I didn't realize we were in a death match. I did not realize that we were in a death match. I thought it was like a popularity contest. You know.
Pickle says Lecter hands down fried finger foods.
Oh my god!
With herbs, follow up with fava beans and a nice Chianti.
Mm-hmm. And anybody who watches Dexter, the opening scenes in the beginning, in the beginning series when he's eating breakfast and all, like that's freaky to me.
I actually have. I sent it to Claire. I actually have a found from Psychology Today, an actual psychological breakdown of Dexter Morgan, and the article starts off, him talking about the beginning of the movie. The beginning of the TV show with the entrance, so it's actually pretty good.
It is.
Well, Raven said, Raven did say Hannibal was caught, but then Mom did say he did get away.
Well, Dexter didn't really get caught, but he's not living a happy life. I'll tell you that. He's not. He's not out there like doing whatever he wants.
Well.
Yeah, but I thought it was an election or something, and I was voting for Dexter. Like, Dexter for president. Yeah, come on. Get off my ass, girl. Go, stop. That's funny, though. That's very funny.
If we don't pay attention, then we don't know what happens. So. Yeah, and Krabby says, "Hush, don't give it away. No spoilers." I didn't. I kept my mouth shut.
I didn't. We're not talking about the end any of that. I'm just talking about like he's, if you watch the series all the way through, like in the beginning ones, he's always like moving. He's always like his life is not that happy. It's very stressful. It's stressful.
So now on to our last movie here that we're going to talk about. This is, excuse me once again, this is Ed Gein, the Butcher of Plainfield from 2007. So the most modern horror movie that takes inspiration from Ed Gein, depicting his crimes for more than half a century after his arrest, is Ed Gein, the Butcher of Plainfield, a direct-to-video horror film starring Kane Hodder from Friday the 13th fame. As you guys know, Kane Hodder played Jason Voorhees, probably the best depiction of Jason you'll ever see. Anyways, the Butcher of Plainfield pays attention to Gein's history while fictionalizing the events leading up to his capture. The plot of the movie centers around Ed Gein kidnapping and slaughtering a woman named Vera Mason, along with a sheriff's deputy and his girlfriend, as well as an ensuing race to catch him before it's too late. It's not a highly accurate depiction of Gein's life and crimes, but the name of the film clearly indicates that it is inspired by the real life killer. While other major serial killers, such as Ted Bundy, have been used as a template for more modern horror movie killers, Ed Gein's crimes have become deeply entrenched in horror pop culture and surely will prevail in the genre's
Mhm.
future.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, that was so what we looked at was the it was from Screen Rant. It says every hit. The title of it is every horror movie inspired by serial killer Ed Gein.
Mhm. That's
So
that's a good link to have.
yeah,
There
um,
is, but there is so much, there is. And you go back to the media at that time in the 50s and how like they just like I think Herb had mentioned before that perhaps the reason the house got burnt down is that they just wanted to go back to normal, like quiet town life, and this was so sensationalized and everybody was so obsessed with it, and like they just wanted it to all go away, you know?
okay, I've got a question. Raven says only you and your dad knew that. Jay knew what? What I missed something. What did I miss?
Mm.
Because if it's something only me and my dad know, that wouldn't surprise me at all. Where do you think I get my my true crime and serial killer
The
from?
original Murder Minion, yeah.
Yeah, the original. Oh, who played Jason?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
mm, yeah,
okay.
Kane Hodder. Yeah. Oh, he
Mhm.
also, if you haven't seen the movies, the Hatchet movies, Hatchet 1, 2, and 3, Kane Hodder plays Crowley, and
Uh-huh.
those are actually pretty good modern day depiction of classic horror flicks. They're not
Mhm.
the greatest, but they're actually fun to watch. Oh, because Raven says, because you said, as you all know, he played Jason. Well, that's
Okay.
true.
Yeah,
I
so
was
that's
just,
true. He did. He was
I was
throwing it
just,
out there.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Now I wanted to ask the chat, because I do know a couple other movies that have links, but they're very superficial links to Ed Gein. I
Mhm.
wanted to see if the chat and you, Claire, could think of any other movie you think may be kind of inspired by Ed Gein.
Kind of inspired by Ed Gein. Mm.
Because the
Well,
ones we looked at, we know are 100% um 100% based on Gein. Now there are other
yeah,
movies that
and
are
they're
kind of.
saying so, but like there's plenty of, I think, like episodes of crime shows and stuff like that that would kind of, you know, maybe. I'm just trying to think of the name. Mm. Hmm. Like I'm thinking about in Criminal Minds, I don't remember them ever focusing on a killer like Gain with the skin suit and stuff like that. Like I don't. Plenty of ones with the mother fixation though. Lots and lots of this dominating mother theory theme in
Mhm.
all of these crime shows and all of these mind hunters and things like that. Mm, you
Now,
know,
Davros did ask me a question. When did Jason first put on the hockey mask? Raven says the fifth movie. I can't remember. I thought it was earlier than the fifth movie, but um,
I
I
thought
thought
it
it was
was
the
around
end of
the
the
third.
second or beginning of the third. But
I thought it was the third, but I
yeah,
thought I read
but
that
like I said, I
somewhere.
don't
But
remember right offhand. And it's funny enough, we just went through and watched like all of them,
you
but I
did?
don't
Oh,
remember.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. Um. But yes. Okay. So we do have some things here. Um.
Hmm. We do.
So Davros says he starts with the pillowcase, gets the mask in the third. See, that's what it
Yeah.
was.
Hey, Claire had it
Um,
right. Yeah,
so
cool. Cool, cool.
Davros says Jeepers Creepers.
Jeepers Creepers. Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes, the
Yes.
wearing of the skin
Yeah.
and the
The
taking of the body
wearing of the
parts.
skin and the body part, the great thing.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, good catch, stuff. I wasn't even thinking about that. Hmm.
American Horror Story Freak Show. I don't know. I will take your word for it,
Um,
Pickle. I haven't watched any of the American Horror Stories.
You know what? There
So
is some in Freak Show there is some connotations there. It's all weird. It's a whole bunch of different serial killers, I think, Pickle.
mm.
But I do see where you might get that game feel, in there. Yeah. She might
Pickle,
be onto
yeah,
something.
Pickle said the son who is crazy and tries to marry the Siamese twins.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I think so.
American Psycho is linked to Ed Gein.
Yeah, it's absolutely American Psycho is definitely in the beginning. We showed like that is definitely all about Ed Gein.
Now, I can't speak on it because once again, I still haven't watched American Psycho. I
You
just
haven't?
know, no, I haven't managed to watch it. I just know that they did take some inspiration because they took
Hmm.
inspiration for a lot of serial killers for American Psycho. That
Hmm.
Ed Gein was one of the inspirations early on in the movie.
Right.
But what it is exactly, I don't know for sure.
Yeah. Yes, Pickle, that would directly relate to Gein when he takes the skin from the clown's face and wears it and he has mommy issues. Yeah. It I see what you're saying. It's a direct Gein reference,
Yeah. And
So
Shay confirms what me and Davros said was that Jason
third
started
movie.
the mask in the third movie. Raven,
That would
I
have been
don't.
the
Yeah, I don't
okay.
see how either. Like I said, I haven't watched it. She's watched it and she hates that movie.
Yeah.
She really does not like American Psycho.
Hmm.
Um, so it's one of those I've got to watch, but I'm so busy watching other things like
Dexter.
today we had Dexter, but today they just released the new show Reacher on Amazon Prime, so I know what I'm doing for the
Oh,
next 8 hours.
okay.
uh,
What is that? Is that
Reacher.
a yeah.
Did you ever see the Tom Cruise movie Jack Reacher?
Yes.
This is
Okay.
actually this show is actually it's called Reacher. It's actually based more off the books. Like,
Okay.
okay,
But it doesn't have Tom Cruise in it, right?
no.
Because like
Here's the
okay,
thing.
cool.
Tom Cruise is 5'7", maybe 150 pounds soaking wet.
Hmm.
Jack Reacher in the books is like 6'8" and weighs over
Hmm.
300 pounds
Yeah.
and is built like a tank. And the guy they got playing Reacher in the show is a spitting image of what you would expect Jack Reacher to look like in the books. Because there's like
Well, that's good.
28 or 30 books in the Jack Reacher series.
Hmm. Yeah, I heard Ozark just came out with new episodes too, and I think Wine is mentioning it in there too. Yes, in another chat they mentioned they were tossing Dexter aside for Ozark now. So they have to come back to Dexter. I'm like, how could you do that? You know,
But
Murderville. Murderville is on Netflix right now too.
I don't know that one. Belinda Paul says American Psycho is a literary masterpiece, perhaps a brilliantly written book of the last century, in my um
In her
opinion.
opinion,
I
yeah,
didn't know it was based off a book.
yeah, the book. Mm.
I was not aware American Psycho was based off a book. That would be an interesting one to read then.
Mm-hmm. I would read the book before you watch the movie. Then maybe. Did you read the book, Raven? Is that why you're not so thrilled with the movie?
No, she
Mm.
just thought it sucked.
Well, there you go.
And I don't know what Murderville is.
Mhm. I think it's a series.
What's Murderville, Shay? I don't know what that is.
I've heard it mentioned. I think it's a.
Oh.
Yeah.
Herb said Ed Gein, the real psycho, is a new doc coming to Discovery.
Really, another one. They just not. They're not done with him. They're gonna keep going. He's kind of
Well,
like
and here's the
kind of.
thing.
It's
With
kind of like the Jack the Ripper, except for that we know who he is
yeah.
here of the states, like that famous. Just in the famous part.
Well, the thing with
Mm.
Raven says no, it's just a bad movie. 80 references thrown in all over the place, so you don't forget the era.
Yeah, well, everybody hates an '80s reference. I get you.
Hey! I will drop you.
Hey, no, I'm just joking. We just had an '80s dance party in the Discord yesterday. It was fun.
Shay
Yeah.
said it's a series going through scripted murders.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
All right, there you go. See,
Um,
it's just up your alley there. Thank you,
but
Shay.
but going back to the documentary on Ed Gein, with them making another one, you'll never see documentaries on serial killers go away. You may have watched 10 or 15 of them, and then another one will pop up, and you'll watch that one because everyone you watch will have a different take,
Mm-hmm.
and you may find, like, I've seen countless documentaries on Ed Kemper, and
Mm-hmm.
I've listened to all his interviews, and I will still jump at the opportunity to listen to a podcast or see a new documentary on Kemper because there's always something
Mm-hmm.
somebody else finds that the documentary people
Right.
won't find, or the last person that did it won't find, or this, that, and the other. So it's all about finding, you're learning new things all the time, and you will with serial killers.
Hmm.
Every
Right.
every time you may think you know every bit about it, and you'll listen to one and you'll find out something new.
Hmm.
And so to see another one with Ed Gein 50 years later doesn't surprise me.
Ooh.
Wine is cheaper than therapy said. I read a scary book recently. It's called The Family. It's about the U.S. government.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
like
yeah.
Shay just said, I just watched the Bundy doc, and there were definitely things in there that she didn't know.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. There's always like something. They're always digging for that like hook, that new thing. Like just like we
Herb
find that.
said,
Yeah, go on.
Herb said the new doc, I think, is about hunting ghosts.
In the Ed Gein one, it's about hunting
Is
ghosts.
that
Yeah,
what you're talking about? The Ed Gein one?
yeah. That's confusing to me.
That
Why
is
would
a
you
little
be
odd if it's Ed Gein, the real psycho, and they hunt ghosts.
Or that would be a new angle. Like there's all these ghosts because he disturbed the bodies, to do the thing. Like he's messing with stuff. I don't know. That would be different, but I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know.
I know. So, like to get back to the main topic we're talking to, Gein will always be a
Yeah.
fascination
Hmm.
for a lot of people just because of what he did, and almost every horror movie you watch, oh, he said they got access to the property.
Oh,
Oh, that could be interesting. But Ed, like I said, Ed Gein, you're gonna see aspects of Gein pop up in a lot of horror movies because I mean, what's more shocking than somebody skinning people alive or making
excellent.
making furniture and belts and stuff like that?
Well, that visual of wearing that
Yeah,
skin suit, walking around the house, that's a little, and the dancing, especially with like the way they did with the Buffalo Bill. Like I always go back to how he was dancing around the house,
yeah.
and like he was really into it. Like it was
Which is
bizarre
is
and
is funny
creepy.
because
Yeah,
the trend go around on TikTok right now is the whole the Buffalo Bill where he's dancing there and he's putting a
yeah,
lipstick on.
that's too much. I mean,
There's
it's
there's
like,
a bunch of people mimicking that on
okay,
TikTok.
okay,
It's so funny.
that's
One
a
of
little
I
creepy.
one of I seen. This is gonna creep Claire out a little bit. One of them was a guy that I follow, Nathan Hurd. He's a black
Oh yeah,
albino comedian. Love him.
uh
He's
huh.
funny as hell. He's in a yellow Care Bear outfit
No,
and
I hate those Care Bears. Those
putting
Care Bears freak me out.
chapstick on his lips, looking into the camera.
Yeah, that don't freak me out because, like, those Care Bears, like, no, not my thing. Like, they freak me out in general. And those in Teletubbies, don't even get me started with Teletubbies.
Now Shay says, yeah, go. She said, Herb, yeah, going on the property is a pass for her.
Yeah,
I
I
agree with
don't know.
Raven. I would go in a heartbeat.
Mm. Yeah, you guys would like go
Oh
camping
yeah,
over there and check it all out. Yeah.
we want to go to the Mutter Museum. Do you know what that is?
No.
There's a Mutter Museum. I don't remember
Muter?
how it's found. There's a Mutter Museum. It's the museum of human oddities.
Oh, I know that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's got all the jaws and the tubes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Shay says,
Okay.
"What a Bundy Survivors has a YouTube channel." Which one is it? Is it the one of the sorority survivors? Because I am actually following one of them on Twitter on my True Serial account. She posted not that long ago that it was the anniversary or something.
Hmm.
Um, that's how I seen her. Um, it's because she had
Maybe.
posted that she was a survivor of a Bundy attack. So
Well, so maybe she's the one with the channel. Maybe it's linked to
yeah.
her Twitter. I don't know.
So Raven says it's pronounced Muter, and
Mute her.
it's in Philly, so I'm not that far away.
Nope,
Make it
that's
in
not
10
far from me
hours.
at all. That's
You
not.
go.
I
We,
make it.
we can do it in about 11 hours.
I make it in less than an hour. There you go.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
that close to Philly?
Well,
Wow.
yeah, cause I'm central New Jersey, so I'm 45 minutes from the city, and I'm like just an hour 10 from Philly. Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Always says the Muter Museum is great. And Krabby's like, I'd go field trip. Shay says Carol. I'm trying to remember. I think the lady I'm following's name is Catherine. Let me look that up real quick because it is actually kind of interesting.
Mm.
What is her
Mhm.
name? Kathy Kleiner.
Oh, okay. Kliner.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, she yeah, her bio says, "I'm fairly certain that given a cape and a nice tiara, I can survive anything. Ted Bundy, lupus, breast cancer. Life is great."
Mhm.
That's her. So yeah, it was January 15th. She had posted. That's why I'd seen it. It said, "On this day, 44 years ago, I was attacked by serial killer Ted Bundy. I survived, but two of my sorority sisters did not.
Mhm.
Today, I'm announcing that I have accepted an offer with Chicago Review Press for my memoir, A Light in the Dark: Surviving More Than Ted Bundy."
And Shay says the woman's name is Carol Neronch in the YouTube channel, I guess.
Hmm.
I don't know. Oh, she was the one he was giving the ride to the police station. So,
Oh.
oh, okay. Thank you, Shay. Man, you got it, girl. You got it. Oh. Not in quite a few years since what's been going on, Belinda, but yeah, that's where, you go for, theater, music, everything, bigger, fancier restaurant. Yeah, it's like, because it's so close, it's where I live is more, the shore and farms. And so like going to the city is like a big thing. It's where we go when we want to do something happening, when we want to feel young again. It's where we go, you know. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, if you would put the link in, that'd be great.
Thank you, Shay.
I would definitely like to look into that. Um, because we always talk about the victim and the serial killers and stuff. It's very rare that you actually talk about survivors. Um,
Hmm.
and so when you can give the credit or recognition to the survivors of the serial killers, whether they be um some that were attacked or some that just happened to,
Hmm.
you know, like Kemper gave a ride to hundreds of co-ed girls in
Hmm.
the time he was killing the co-eds. So just think of all of them that survived. You know, they were in the car, they were there with Kemper, and he chose not to. But then, certain ones he chose to. So to think back on that, the survivors,
Hmm.
it's got to weigh on them a little bit. You got to get the survivor's guilt. Why wasn't I chosen? Things
Hmm.
like that. So yeah, it'd
Right.
be interesting to take a look. Belinda says the Museum of Natural History. I'd go every
Yep.
week if I could.
Yes, and also the actually botanical all everything. There's so many museums, not just that. There are like all of them, because you just don't go into the city. All over in Queens, everywhere. The
Oh
amazing,
wow.
amazing, amazing pictures.
She's got an actual short of Ted Bundy talking about her.
Wow. Oh, Jade's gonna be checking that out on it.
Oh, I
Yeah,
am subscribing to that channel.
Thank you for the artist, Mrs.
Yeah,
Cassandra.
thank you.
Always makes my day. Yeah.
Um,
Mm. Mm. I did
yeah.
spend, a lot of time in the city. Like I said, Belinda, it is the place to go if you're going to be doing stuff. You just make a day out of it, you know.
So
Because
Ed Gein.
Ed Gein,
Ed
it was
Gein.
part two. Are we done? Are we putting him back in one of his boxes?
Yeah, we're putting Gein back into his bag. He'll come up again. He always does.
Oh, all those spare parts. I can see why.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Um.
Yeah, no, I'm
He.
sure there's lots of references. He's going to keep coming up because even with the Catherine Knight, we were referring, like,
Yeah. We
about
still
this
refer
kid.
to Crazy Lady every so often.
Yeah, because even like when you compare them, they both, had a very, very talented in getting the skin off the body.
But
So.
it's actually not that hard.
But Jay, do not instruct me that far. Like, come
it's
on, like,
if you
no.
it's probably harder to skin a deer than it is to skin a human being.
Raven,
I'm
Raven girl.
just guessing.
Yeah, he's like his serial killer 101, courtesy of Jay at True
Oh,
Serial.
I
Yeah,
could tell. I could tell. Oh, I could tell you some things.
yeah, apparently, 'cause
Here, I will give you guys my number one. No, if you were a serial killer and you get caught, what is the number one thing you do? Or even if you don't get caught,
What is
what is the number
thing?
one thing as a serial killer you should always do?
Make a victim list so they think that you're crazy. No, what? Okay, what?
Keep your mouth shut.
Well, that's any criminal. That's not just
But that is see, there has been a lot of serial killers that get caught because they couldn't keep their mouth shut.
Well,
so keep your mouth shut. Don't take trophies. Don't make lists.
You see, let's say don't make lists. I know somebody was joking in the Discord. I figured it was one of my mods. Yeah. They were saying, "Well, I wouldn't get caught because I would leave a list around of victims and everything, and so they would think I was too dumb or like I couldn't possibly be the killer because why would I leave a list of people I was going to kill?" Which doesn't make it. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and like Belinda said, don't be arrogant.
Yes, don't be arrogant. Well, like some of them were like that guy, the financial guy, like he was a bit arrogant.
Yeah.
Like that's what kind of gets me with these ones. Or the one that was, the acid bath killer, and he's like just dumping it out in the yard like it's no big deal. I
think, I kind of agree with Herb too. There, don't get comfortable.
That will never. If you
if you get comfortable, you start relaxing and you start making mistakes.
Well, look what happened. Look what happens with Dexter. It gets a little too it gets habit forming. Like
spoilers.
No.
But there are so many. Just I said the number one thing is just keep your mouth shut. Don't say anything.
That's in any criminal. Even if you're not guilty, you didn't do anything wrong. Wait for advice because they do tell you right away. Every single thing you say and do is up for evidence against you, and you don't know how people are going to twist things. So you just wait. Just wait. There's nothing wrong with just waiting until you get like real professional advice next to you.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean cooperate if you're a witness. I mean, if you're a witness and you can help them, it's a whole different thing.
I'll even take that further. Even with your lawyer, shut the hell up. Keep your mouth shut. Don't say shit. Make them prove that you did it. Don't give them anything.
Well, how can your lawyer help you if they don't know what's out there? Like you do have to share information with your lawyer so they can protect you.
No, you don't. If you keep your mouth shut and you don't say anything, then it is 100% on the prosecution to prove that you did it. They have to provide all the evidence. They have to provide reasoning. If you don't say anything, you keep your mouth shut.
They have to do that anyway.
Yes,
they have to do that anyway.
But if you speak, then you give them options. You give them hints. You give them reasons. And if you take all that out, and like Raven said, the lawyer can't hold evidence.
No, he can't. So I'm not saying give them evidence, but talk to your lawyer about what the other side already has. I mean, you have to give him something to go with. Otherwise, how is he going to do reverse pleadings and everything? If you don't talk with your lawyer, he can't do his best job. I have to disagree with you there. I do agree with don't incriminate yourself. Yes, I agree with that. But you need to speak with your lawyer so they could do the best job possible because they do have to counter whatever this is. I know the other side has to prove it against you, but believe me, you're not in court with charges against you if they don't have something. So you need to at least give your lawyer the information to counter that so they can work with them. So I'm going to have to say, because I'm the more legal part of this, no, Jay, no. No.
Now, see?
There's got to be compromise there. I agree. Don't incriminate yourself. Don't give them anything they don't need.
I'm going to call bullshit on that one, Claire, because we were following a case right now where everything is circumstantial.
It is, but, in that case, everything is... Which one? Morphu?
Yeah.
Which one? You're saying it's circumstantial, but this stuff...
They don't have any evidence he did anything.
They have the GPS. They have where he was. They have the going back. They have him on camera with bags in disposals and cleaning supplies come on, Jay. That stuff, I agree. The bulk of the case is, I'm not going to get into it here, but we're going to get into it soon. The bulk of the case and popular opinion is circumstantial.
Yeah.
Yes, there's no
But
body. But you're not going to tell me they don't have actual
any
evidence.
proof of death either.
Oh.
There's no blood. There's no body. There's no hair fragment. There's nothing. They have nothing for proof of death. So everything they have is circumstantial.
Yeah. You're going.
Note to self: never commit a crime with Claire. She's gonna sing. She's gonna sing.
That's right.
Loose lips, Little Bear.
Yes, Little Bear be dead in the water for that. You're right, because I'm telling you, I do believe you have to cooperate with your lawyer. I do, because they, why else are they there for you?
See, I'm not going to make it easy. If I ever get caught doing anything like that, they're going to have to prove 100%.
Just don't call me, Jay. Just don't call me.
Any kind of shadow of a doubt that I did it.
No, that's not true. No body, no crime, because there are convictions without bodies every day.
One of my first videos I did was on Baby Kate. They got the murder conviction without a body.
Without a body.
But in that case, though, there was evidence that something happened, that he did things. They just couldn't find. They don't have the body. He had her clothes she was dressed in. There was the car seat she was in the car. So he had her clothes stuffed in his pockets that she was wearing.
Okay, so on that note, Jay, how are you denying the physical evidence of her clothes that she wears on the bicycle? We're talking about Morphew here, on his body when he got to the hotel. Like, it was sticking right out of that bag.
No.
That's evidence.
No.
Yeah.
They'd never proved it was her. They never proved that was her shirt. They never proved what that garment was. They just said there was a blue garment sticking out of the bag.
Oh, yeah, you give this man too much grace. You're giving him.
I 100% believe this dude killed his wife. I don't want anybody thinking otherwise.
Because that's just somebody else's clothes in the bag he decided to drag all the way to a hotel hundreds of miles away so he could throw it in a dumpster, because that's normal behavior. It couldn't possibly be his wife's outfit that she was wearing that morning that looks exactly like it, that he gave the verbal evidence to the actual investigators that he was, but that just makes too much sense. It just couldn't freaking be the simplest solution.
I am just saying, I'm saying with that case, it is 100% circumstantial. They have yet to prove anything for her being missing.
You know what?
Yeah, they assumed that that's what she was wearing.
He is actually giving them that information. He says she wore it a lot and it wasn't in the house, and that she wore it a lot. And there is actual physical evidence of pictures of her, recent pictures of her. She did wear that outfit a lot to go biking. So yeah, they do. There's a lot of assumption. I agree with you guys, but sometimes the simplest answer is the answer, and you can't ignore it.
Yeah, but if you're going to go with the murder case, there can't be any doubt.
Yeah, I know it's very frustrating with this, because there's a whole bunch of legal stuff going on with this case that is so damn frustrating.
Maybe we just need to cover Morphew again on Monday.
No, well, I'm waiting. There's actually some stuff happening on it. I'm going to wait, not this Monday, next Monday, because there's going to be some more rulings.
Okay. Krabby says, I'll give you one piece of advice.
Belinda, never assume anything about the bear girl. I'm telling you that right now. Like, you think Little Bear, no, don't assume shit. Do not assume shit. This is no. And not that I'm going to give you any facts to counter it, but.
So Krabby says, I'll give you a piece of advice. Don't conspire with others ever. Someone will talk. And then Herb comes back with 2 people can keep a secret. One of them dead.
Oh my God, pull up always. Oh my God.
Maybe he borrowed it to work after he picked up the
because she was tinier than him. Oh, girl.
And Belinda says, I agree with you, Krabby. Never conspire with anyone, especially Claire.
Exactly. Man, what did I I do, Belinda. I'm always on your side. Damn it, girl. Always just say, I'm not committing any crimes with you. That's it. You're off the list. No fun. No fun.
So, who do you guys want us to cover next? We'll leave this up in the chat. Who do you guys want to hear us talk about next?
We've got some female ones. There's a fascinating murder that just happened in Australia that I'm just gonna pop up as a with my blabber mouth. I'll be locked up even if I was 100% innocent. They probably would just to shut me up. I'm telling you, just to shut me up.
Herb wants us to cover the Monster of the Andes.
Yes, he said that a couple of times. Raven, we're saving Lizzie Borden for the debate.
Lizzie Borden. Shay says she's thinking.
I don't know, but the Monster of the your dad keeps tossing that one at us. Maybe we should do that. Somebody obscure. Well, the Monster of the Andes.
It'll take me some time with the Monster of the Andes because I haven't looked him up in a while. Pedro Lopez is the Monster of the Andes. I'll have to take some time on that one. 110 plus victims, claim 350. Wow. Yeah. I remember this guy from Colombia.
That sounds like a two-parter.
Yeah. So we'll get to the Monster of the Andes in a little bit. But maybe it's going to take it'll take some time to get the down and dirty on that one. Belinda says somebody obscure. Raven's like, I forgot about the debate.
No, Chris reminded us this morning.
Which is not fair, by the way.
Why?
Because Chris is on the moderator's on your side.
Well, facts are facts, Jay. I can't. The bear is just, I don't know.
Oh, that's right. Herb said he's free now and his whereabouts are unknown. I forgot about that because...
Okay, starting not this Monday, but next Monday, we're going to do this guy. Jay, get ready.
I forgot about that because he was only convicted of 16 years.
And now he's out, and and it was 150, and he claims 350, and he's walking. You know what he's doing, Jay? You know what he's doing.
He led to the police to 53 graves in Ecuador.
And he only got 16 years?
Yeah.
That's a hot mess. I got to find out why. Legally, that's tantalizing. Thank you, Herb. Legally, that's
because unlike the United States, a lot of countries you can't stack multiple death penalty life sentences, and some countries life sentence isn't that long, 20 years tops. So, and like I said, a lot of countries they don't stack multiple life sentences. So you could kill 50 people, get life in prison, and you get one. That's it. Herb said at max prison at the time was only 15 years.
Belinda, it was a recent case. It's a young couple. The guy's already turned himself in, and they pressed charges on him. But I have all the stuff. I'm just gonna do I'm gonna do a short podcast on it and put it up. It's just you can hear my voice. It's just not cooperating with my mic, and I sound like shit on podcast. Or I'd have it up already. But it just happened a couple of days ago, actually.
Yeah. Raven says in Germany they have a max sentence of 20 years, and when you get out, you're given a new identity.
Oh God, that would be very dangerous for a serial killer. Let's just keeping them busy in Germany.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah. All right, that's not going to be a place I retire to. Thank you, Raven.
So we don't want to pick any of the big names. We don't want to pick Gacy or Bundy.
No, I thought we just picked Pedro for next Monday.
Pedro's going to be a while. I mean, because there's a lot of stuff we need to research on Pedro.
So we just need something for Monday and Thursday.
Thursday this week.
Why don't we surprise them? No, it's not the little girl. It is a 19-year-old woman who just went to Australia to be with him. He's 20. They were living together. They just got married a few weeks or so before. Something happened. She is demised. They found the body. They also found it with a lot of chemicals for an acid bath treatment. That one, Belinda. So I kind of just put the whole case out there now, but still. Yeah, it was fascinating. It kind of reminded me of that acid bath guy, only this kid, he was distraught. He went and turned himself in as soon as they found out he was looking for him. It all happened in one day.
What do you
one day.
think, Claire?
Yeah.
What do you think about let's see. Why don't we go Dennis Nilsson.
Who? Okay, I'm gonna be serial killer dumb here now. Who the heck is Dennis Nielsen?
Dennis Nilsson is best known as the Scottish murderer of many young men in the early 70s and early 80s, late 70s, early 80s. He's the
All
one
right.
that stuffed body parts down the down the garbage disposal, got
Oh,
caught.
the disposal because it got stuck and he called the
Yeah.
plumber. The guy that called the plumber. Yeah, let's do the
Yeah.
guy that called the plumber. Okay.
So
Yeah.
we'll do
Go
Dennis
ahead.
Hansen next because it's not a long story. It's a fascinating story, but it's not a long story. So, and
Okay.
then we'll look at that'll give us some time to do some research on Pablo.
Okay.
Uh,
So are we
oh
going to do that
oh
one Thursday on your show, and my show's going to be probably an update show with a little case. Because if I can't get this podcast out rather, I'm
mhm.
going to do the case I just talked about. We're going to go over that one live.
Herb also said Christine Homolka. That is
Yep.
one we do plan on doing.
Yep, she's on the list of females,
Yeah,
and her Baumeister.
Herb Baumeister.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember who Herb Baumeister that was.
Mm.
Trying to remember. See, with me, a lot of times I don't remember the actual names until I get the.
Mm-hmm. Well, we know what we're doing now next week because we're gonna do. You
Well,
send
do
me
you
the
want to
name Dennis. Send me Dennis for Thursday.
do you
And
want to do Dennis or do you want to do Rodney Akala?
who's Rodney now? Well, come on, like I don't know these
Rodney
serial
Akala
killers.
was the dating game killer who appeared on the Dating Game TV show in 1978.
You're freaking me out. Is it how much is it? Did he get caught right away?
Let's see here.
How about let's play? We're going to surprise you Thursday. Send me both names. I'm going to do a legal search first, and I'll tell you which one entices me because there's probably not much on either one actually. But
yeah,
see.
Rodney Akala and Dennis Nielsen. So
Okay.
I'll send them over to you right now while I'm thinking about it, so I don't forget. Because you know me, I'll forget.
Okay.
You'll be like, it'll be Wednesday night. You'll be like, who we covering?
Yep. I do that often, don't I? I go, what are we doing? You go, wait a minute, and you go back and look, and then we figure it out. But no, actually, I like to look ahead. That's why, because I got some time on. I do actually have a lot of stuff planned for this weekend. I don't know how it happened, but I have streams all over the place. Usually, I have the weekend off.
I'm trying to remember who this Herb.
Oh, the
Burmeister is.
Craigslist killer. Now that one, I know that name, Krabby, the Craigslist killer, but not the dating game killer. The dating game, yeah, there's a lot on Rodney. Oh, right. Shay said there's a lot. I believe Shay, it's Rodney. I'll pick right now. Forget the other name.
Rodney Akala.
Rodney Akala it is because Shay's my girl, man. When she tells me there's stuff, she sends me stuff. Like if she says there's stuff, I believe you, Shay. She my girl. I do. I believe her.
Herb Baumeister.
Oh, he kept taking it back to court. That's my kind of case, Raven. Thank you. Eventually, even recently. Oh, he's dead now, though. I guess he's okay. Good. Gives me something to go with.
So Herb Baumeister, was American businessman suspected serial killer resident in Indianapolis, under investigation for murder of over a dozen men in the early 90s. Most were last seen at gay bars. The police found the remains of 11 people, 8 identified on his property. But he committed suicide after a warrant was issued for his arrest. He was later linked to a series of murders of at least 9 more men along Interstate 70.
Fascinating, but no legal aspect there if he killed himself before they
even got him. That's not going to pique her interest.
I just hate a non-legal dead serial killer. He's just boring. Boring.
Okay, so
thank you, Shay. You can put it in the Discord or you can put it in my DMs, whichever you prefer, girl.
Yeah. This is Herb Burmeister.
Well, wow.
Kind of a dork.
Is he the one that doesn't have any information on him because he died before?
That's the guy that killed himself.
So he, he is boring, Jay. Come on.
And
Always Grateful said Stephen Port. That name sounds familiar. That might already be in my legal files, actually. What does that? Let's me just see.
And
Look,
this.
we are Googling live on.
And
Fucking Googling live on.
this is Rodney Akala.
Oh, I get to see what he looks like. The dating game guy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Now you recognize him?
Yes, he looks like Howard Stern in some of these pictures, don't he? Yes, because I remember. Yes. Who? This is him going back to court and back to court. I've got stuff on these, I think. Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So it looks like we're doing Rodney Akala next week.
Yes, we are. Yep. Send me Shay and then Stephen Port.
And so all right.
Wait,
So,
Stephen Port is a British convicted serial rapist and serial killer from he is responsible for the murder of 4 men and for committing multiple assaults. Port received a life sentence with a whole life order on the November 2016, meaning he'll never get out. A British one.
So I sent Claire. So I sent to Claire Rodney Akala, Dennis Nielsen, Herb Burmeister, and Stephen Port.
Okay, thank you.
So,
all right. Well, we're going to have an entertaining couple of weeks,
and then of course we will definitely take on Pedro here within the next probably 2 or 3 weeks.
Always, he was the chef, right? Yeah, he was the guy with the. Okay, I got it. And he just looks. Oh yeah.
So.
Oh no, gosh! You knew a guy that worked with them? Oh, he must feel very creeped out at this point. Oh my god! But there was a lot of, if I remember correctly, the investigation was riddled with mistakes, right? Like if I remember correctly, this it was only four killings, and they just really messed this up, and it's a surprise that they pulled it out at the end.
Herb said for the Burmeister case, he said his wife refused to let the police search because she knew he couldn't have done it.
Oh, okay. So obstruction's always what we do when we're innocent. We always just obstruct. Yes, that's it. Okay, I get that.
You know, that is something that is an interesting. You know, that's something we should look into at some point. Claire, too, is what happened to the wives of the serial killers that were caught. Were any charges lifted upon them? You know, things like that. Because like I said, almost every wife of the serial killer didn't believe they would do it.
Right.
You know, they couldn't have been them. There's no way they could have done it. No way. So
and look at was it Bundy that had the relationship and the person just couldn't it's like a dual personality. But I can understand how to get away with it. It's like a double life. You know, there's plenty of people like that. And they didn't press any charges because they actually inadvertently are giving information during the investigations, and they are kind of cooperating. But if they're being obstructive, like that wife, I want to know, that wife that said, "No, he didn't do it. You can't come in."
Herb also says that this was after the kids found some bones on the farm.
And they still wouldn't let them. You see, that's obstruction. I hope they charged her ass. They should. That's just denial and a lawsuit waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Come on. I love you, dude, but they found bones. Let them in. They found bones. You know, yeah, that's messed up. That's very messed up. But on that, so we're in an hour and a half, Jade.
We are. So Monday, what are we covering Monday?
Stuff.
Okay, we're covering stuff on Monday.
We are. We're going to do some updates. And like I said a little bit ago, I said, if the updates don't fill it and my voice doesn't cooperate over the weekend to get the podcast out, we're going to talk about that recent murder in Australia that I just mentioned.
Okay. And then Thursday, we'll go over Rodney Akala.
And our mate, Chris, he actually dumped all the real life stuff on me in Australia because it's hard to get names and stuff in Australia. But I got everything. I got it all. He was very good to us.
Krabby said this just came across my news feed. Milpitas police arrest suspect after finding woman's body in backyard. So don't murder your neighbor and bury them in your own backyard, or take them home and bury them.
You know, that is very good advice. Kind of get the body as far away as you can from anything that has anything to do with you. But you know, why don't we give him murder 101 lessons here on this series? What the hell is wrong with us? Like, really? Like, can you see they're going to press charges on us for starting some kind of cult of murderers, like called murder minions? Like we're like cultivating a society here.
I need to look at my calendar real quick, because there is something going to be coming up that I want to make sure everybody's aware about. I just want to make sure. Okay. February 3rd. Let me double check, make sure I'm not working that day.
February 3rd is gone.
I'm sorry, March 3rd.
Okay.
I need to double check my schedule real quick.
Mm-hmm.
It's not out that far.
My book. Oh, wait,
not out that far. So tentatively, March 3rd. Mind you, said tentative because I haven't got that schedule yet.
Right, it's Thursday. Okay.
The plan that week is, at least on my channel, I don't know about Claire's, is I want to start going over the Jean Benet case.
Yeah, do it. I'll mark that Monday. Let's do it. Yeah.
So, okay. But I won't know exactly what date for my channel because my schedule for that week's not out yet. So. Right. Shay's like, we're all going to jail together.
Yeah, we are. It's like, we're all like conspiring here. But yes, let's do Jean Benet in March. That's great. In the beginning of March. If we start it on that Monday, great. If you can do that Thursday, or we do it the following week. At least I'm gonna have a tentative. I know when to have the research done by.
Yeah, I want to, because there's a lot.
Because there's a lot. Look at you thinking ahead. Yeah. I'm a good influence on you there, Jay. There's a good. Yeah.
And
thank you.
Krabby says, nope, Shay, I'm not going back to jail or prison. Been there, done that.
Oh. Yep.
So yeah, so beginning of March, we're going to start covering Jean Benet. Now that may take a while because there is a lot of information. So that one, expect that one for quite a few episodes. Because there's just a lot of stuff to cover with Jean Benet. So,
and just so you all know, there's a playlist of all of the stuff that Jay and I do together on this on the channel. If you want to go back and check any of the other ones, or when we do the Jean Benet, if you miss one and you got to go back, or even with this one, if you missed the first one of Ed Gein and you want to go back, it's all there in a playlist on there for the legal and true crime. For both channels, because you can, link all the videos in one place.
Yep. And once I figure out how to do that, I'll have them linked over here too.
Yeah, I'll talk to him, people, this week. Don't worry, he'll have one. Like,
but I'll get them. I'll get those linked over here too. So
yes, and if you get a chance, everybody, Jay's on Instagram and his followers are up. But if you have not subscribed, or anybody that would be interested in something like this, get them over there to hit that subscribe button. Let's get Jay up. So we can celebrate 100.
Let me look again. Last I looked before we started the show. Where am I at now? Oh, wait a minute.
Oh,
I think I was at 117 on Instagram. I am now at.
No, I meant here on your channel.
I'll get to that in a minute. So I'm at 120 followers on Instagram. I'm at 71 subscribers here on YouTube. So I'd love to hit that 100 mark so I get my true cereal. So you can just type in youtube.com/true cereal.
There you go. And we'll get him up so we can have 100 subscriber party. And Jay, all of those true crime channels that I linked on the wrong video on Instagram, go follow them. Go follow all of them.
I looked at them. I think I'm following most of those.
Okay, good. So. And
oh, Pete, come on! Really, you had to go there? Yeah. That's usually a Dov thing, but that's not here. So I guess we'll go with Pete.
And I'm glad Peter's still here because he gets credit for dropping that Australian case live as it happened, right on the news. He dropped that case to us immediately, and that we're going to cover about that young man. So Peter gets first credit, and then Chris came in with the deets with his connections. So thank you both very much. But thank you, Peter, for the lead because it's quite interesting. Tragic, but interesting case. It'll make a nice one. So.
Well, that's all I've got for tonight. Thank you all for joining with us as we talked about Ed Gein and his effects on pop culture. Then we talked about how to be a serial killer.
Yes, we did.
And then upcoming cases. So,
Yep. And if you need to get over all of that, come join me on Mayhem, where we will not talk about Jay trying to turn us all into killers. We will try to find something else to occupy our time. So we'll see you later.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Take care of your loved ones. And,
Yep.
and as we say here, have a
Don't
good
get
night.
caught.
Don't get caught.
It's a new hashtag. Yes.
All right, murder minions. We'll see you later. Good night.
Bye.